This is Minister of War Alexander Petrov, retired. I served the Terran Federation through the darkest period in human history. 5 years of siege, 5 years of hunger, 5 years of transformation. What I witnessed during those years changed my understanding of what humanity truly is. We are not merely survivors. We are not simply resilient. We are something far more dangerous. This is Case File 227. This is the story of the Siege of Earth. The Valorian Empire was ancient when humanity discovered fire. They had conquered 300 star systems through a simple philosophy. Why destroy what you can starve? The Valorians understood economics. They understood logistics. They understood that every civilization, no matter how powerful, required resources to survive. Cut off those resources, wait patiently, and eventually your enemy would collapse without you firing a single shot. It had worked for 10,000 years. Species after species had surrendered to Valorian blockades rather than face slow starvation. It was efficient. It was bloodless. It was inevitable. When the Valorian Emperor decided that humanity had become too dangerous to tolerate, he chose the same strategy. 20,000 warships positioned in a perfect sphere around Earth, intercepting every ship that attempted to enter or leave. The Valorian ambassador delivered the terms personally. Humans of Earth, you are surrounded. Your colonies are isolated. Your supply lines are severed. Every day you resist, your people grow hungrier. Every week you fight, your children grow weaker. We offer you peace. Surrender your military. Accept Valorian governance. Become a client species, and we will feed you again. Resist, and you will starve. Not quickly, not mercifully, slowly, over months and years, until your civilization collapses and your people beg us for the food we offer. You have 1 standard year to decide. After that, we expect your unconditional surrender. President Chen's response was broadcast to every human on Earth. Citizens of Earth, you have heard the Valorian terms. Surrender or starve. I will not make this decision for you. I cannot. This is a choice that 12 billion people must make together. But I will tell you what I believe. I believe that humanity has never surrendered to anyone. I believe that our ancestors survived ice ages and plagues and world wars because they refused to accept death. I believe that the species that conquered Earth, that spread across the stars, that built wonders the galaxy has never seen, will not bow to threats. I believe we are stronger than they know. I believe that if they want to starve us, they will learn what hungry humans are capable of. I believe we will survive. I believe we will endure. And I believe that when this is over, it will be the Valorians who regret starting this war. They have given us 1 year to surrender. I say we give them 5 years of hell. Who stands with me? 12 billion humans responded. We stood. Year 1 was the hardest. The blockade was absolute. Nothing entered Earth's atmosphere. Nothing left. We were alone with whatever resources remained on our planet. The rationing began immediately. Every calorie was tracked. Every gram of food was allocated with mathematical precision. The abundance that humanity had known for centuries vanished overnight. People went hungry. Not starving. Not yet. But hungry. The constant gnawing emptiness that reminds you with every breath that there is not enough. I watched the changes begin. Every rooftop became a garden. Every basement became a mushroom farm. Every window ledge held vegetables growing in recycled containers. Humanity transformed its cities into vertical farms within months. The oceans were harvested more intensively than ever before. Algae cultivation expanded to industrial scales. Protein synthesis facilities worked around the clock, converting any organic matter into edible nutrition. We lost 400 million people in year one. The elderly who could not adapt. The sick who needed medicines we could not produce. The unlucky who fell through the cracks of our rationing system. 400 million deaths. The Valorians monitored our communications. They heard our grief. They expected us to break. We did not break. We got angry. Year two brought adaptation. The initial shock had passed. The systems we built in desperation became refined, efficient, sustainable. Every human on Earth received exactly 2,000 calories per day. No more, no less. The wealthy ate the same as the poor. The powerful ate the same as the common. For the first time in human history, we were truly equal. Equal in our hunger. Equal in our determination. The recycling systems became absolute. Nothing was wasted. Human waste was processed into fertilizer. Dead plant matter was converted back into soil. Even our dead were composted, returned to the earth that struggled to feed us. Some called it barbaric. I called it survival. And something else began in year two. Something the Valorians never detected. The conversion. Every weapons factory on Earth shifted production. Every military facility began new projects. Every scientist and engineer was drafted into a single unified effort. We were not simply surviving the siege. We were preparing to break it. Year three saw the acceleration. The hunger had become normal. The rationing was simply life. Humanity had adapted to conditions that would have destroyed lesser species. And in that adaptation, we found strength we never knew we had. The birth rate dropped to near zero. People chose not to bring children into a world of starvation. But this meant that all of our resources, all of our energy, could be directed toward a single goal: war. The old warships in Earth's defense fleet were dismantled. Their components were melted down, recycled, reformed. The metals that had protected us became the raw material for something new. Underground, in facilities that the Valorians could not detect, we began building. Not just weapons, not just ships, an armada. The Valorians watched Earth from orbit. They saw a planet slowly starving. They saw population declining. They saw what looked like a civilization in collapse. They did not see the caverns beneath the Himalayas, where shipyards larger than cities assembled destroyers in darkness. They did not see the factories beneath the Pacific Ocean, where automated systems built missiles by the million. They did not see the training facilities beneath the Sahara, where every able-bodied human learned combat skills. They saw a dying world. They could not have been more wrong. Year four was preparation. The fleet was nearly complete. 6,000 warships, built entirely in secret, crewed by personnel who had trained for this moment since the siege began. 6,000 ships against 20,000. The odds were not in our favor. But we had advantages the Valorians could not anticipate. Our ships were new, designed from scratch with every lesson humanity had learned about space combat. The Valorian blockade fleet was old, its vessels assigned to siege duty because they were considered obsolete for frontline combat. Our crews were motivated. Every pilot, every gunner, every engineer had lost someone to the siege. They fought not for glory or territory, but for vengeance. And we had 5 years of rage compressed into a single moment of violence. The Valorians had grown complacent. 20,000 ships maintaining a blockade was boring duty. Their crews were undertrained, their vigilance had faded, their assumption of inevitable human surrender had become certainty. They did not expect us to attack. They expected us to die quietly. Year 5, Day 1. March 15th, 2347. The 5th anniversary of the blockade's beginning. President Chen broadcast one final message to the Valorian fleet. 5 years ago, you surrounded our world. 5 years ago, you told us to surrender or starve. 5 years ago, you thought you knew what humanity was. You were wrong. We did not surrender. We did not starve. We transformed. Every death from your siege we carved into our memory. Every hungry child we remembered. Every life lost to your patience we counted. The count is complete. It is time to balance the scales. All Terran vessels. This is the order you have waited 5 years to hear. Break the blockade. Kill them all. The hidden launch bays opened across Earth's surface. 6,000 warships, erupting from mountains and oceans and deserts, ascending through atmosphere in perfect formation. The Valorians detected them immediately, but detection and response are different things. By the time their commanders understood what was happening, our fleet had already reached engagement range. The Battle of Earth lasted 9 hours. Our ships were faster. Our weapons were newer. Our crews were driven by 5 years of stored fury. But more than that, we had something the Valorians had never faced. Coordination born from desperation. For 5 years, every human on Earth had worked together. Every resource shared, every effort unified. The individualism that had defined our species was replaced by something new. A collective determination that turned 12 billion people into a single organism. That organism was now at war. Our fleet did not fight like individual ships. They fought like cells of the same body. Perfect coordination, instantaneous communication, unified purpose. The Valorian commanders could not adapt. Their fleets were collections of individual vessels, each following orders from a central command. When our attacks disrupted their communication networks, their coordination collapsed. Ours did not. By hour 3, 5,000 Valorian ships were destroyed. By hour 6, 10,000. By hour 9, the siege that was supposed to last until humanity surrendered had become a massacre. The surviving Valorian vessels tried to flee. We did not let them. Every ship that had blockaded Earth was hunted down. Every vessel that had participated in starving 12 billion humans was destroyed. We pursued them for 3 weeks, across 4 star systems, until not a single blockade ship remained. 20,000 Valorian warships. 0 survivors. The Valorian Emperor sued for peace within a month. He offered reparations. He offered territory. He offered anything we wanted. President Chen's response was simple. You tried to starve us. You failed. Keep your territory. Keep your reparations. We do not want them. We want you to remember. Remember what you did to Earth. Remember the 5 years of siege. Remember the 400 million humans who died from hunger while your ships watched. And remember what happened when we stopped dying. 20,000 ships, Emperor. Your entire blockade fleet. We destroyed them all. That is what hungry humans can do. Imagine what we will do if you ever threaten us again. The Terran Federation does not want war with the Valorian Empire. But we are ready for it. We are always ready now. You taught us that. So thank you, Emperor. Thank you for the siege. Thank you for the blockade. Thank you for showing us what we are capable of when we have nothing left to lose. You tried to break humanity. You forged us instead. Peace is accepted, but it is not forgotten. Nothing is ever forgotten. The siege of Earth ended 43 years ago. The events have been studied by every military academy in the galaxy. The transformation of human civilization from peaceful abundance to total war machine in just 5 years is considered impossible by most species. But we did it. We survived on a planet that should not have supported 12 billion people. We built a fleet in secret that should not have existed. We destroyed an enemy that should have been unbeatable. We did the impossible because we had no other choice. That is the lesson the galaxy learned from the siege of Earth. Never corner humanity. Never cut off our resources. Never assume that starvation will make us surrender. It will not. It will make us dangerous. Hunger does not weaken humans. It focuses us. It strips away everything unnecessary and leaves only the essential core of what we are. Survivors, adapters, fighters. The Valorians thought they were starving a civilization. They were feeding a fire, and when that fire finally erupted, it consumed everything in its path. This is Minister of War Alexander Petrov. Signing off. Case File 2. 2-7 is now closed. They surrounded us with 20,000 ships. They gave us 5 years to surrender. We gave them 5 years to regret their decision. And on the day the siege ended, it was not humanity that broke. It was them. Never corner a human. We do not starve. We evolve. And evolution, for our species, always leads to the same place: victory.